Hello learners, today we are going to learn lesson 7 from An Alien Hand, that is Chandini, written by Zakir Hussain. This lesson tells us about how important freedom is for any creature on this earth. Before we read this lesson, let us know what freedom is. Freedom refers to a state of independence where you can do what you like without any restriction by anyone. Moreover, it is a state of mind where you have the right and freedom of doing what you can think of, and also you can feel freedom from within. Freedom is not something that can be touched, seen, smelt. Freedom is choice to live your life doing what you want, to live where you want, to eat by choice, and to learn what your heart desires. Now let us read the lesson. Abu Khan kept goats as pets. He loved his goats, but they left him one by one. He bought a young pretty goat and called her Chandini. So now let us read the lesson and find out why Abu Khan's goats left one by one and what made these goats to leave Abu Khan. Once upon a time, there lived an old man in Almora. He was popularly known as Abu Khan. Popularly means commonly. He lived all alone, except for a few goats, which he always kept as pets. He gave his goats funny names such as Kaluwa, Mungia, or Gujri. He would take them out for grazing during the day and talk to them as one talked to one's own children. So grazing refers to feeding. At night, he would bring them back to his little hut and put a string round the neck of each goat. So here, once there lived an old man in Almora, and his name is Abu Khan, and he has pets. As he lived all alone, he kept a few goats as his pets, and he gave them funny names. And he would take them out for feeding during the day, and during the day he used to talk to them a lot, like as he talks to his own children. And night he used to bring them back to his hut, and he used to tie the neck of each goat with a string. Poor Abu Khan was a little unlucky in the matter of his goats. So in the matter means as regards. Very often at night, one of the goats would pull and pull at the string till it broke loose. Broke loose is stop being, and then would disappear. Disappear means to be lost in the hills beyond. Goats in hilly regions hate being tied to trees or poles. They love their freedom. Abu Khan's goats were of the best hill breed. They too loved their freedom. So, whenever they got the chance, they would run away only to get killed by an old wolf who lived in the hills. So now, Abu Khan was a very unlucky man in this regard. He kept goats as his pets. He treated them as his own children. But at night, so these goats used to pull that string a lot, and they used to break that string, and they would disappear, and they used to go beyond the hills. And the goats in the hilly region, they did not like to be tied to a tree or a pole. And these goats, which are of a good breed, a hill breed, they love freedom. And these are the best hill breed goats, and they love their freedom. So whenever these goats got chance, they would run away to the hill. And in the hill, there was one old wolf which used to kill these goats and eat whenever any goat has come to the hill. Whenever one of his goats disappeared, Abu Khan was very sad. He did not understand why even the juiciest grass and grains that he gave them and all the love that he showered on them would not stop these unfortunate goats from running straight into the jaws of death. So jaws of death means certain death. Are these goats mad? He wondered. Or was it their love for freedom? But freedom meant struggle, hardship, even death. Abu Khan could not solve the mystery. Abu Khan was very sad whenever one of his goats disappeared, and he did not understand why these goats are missing. And he was thinking that he has given them the best, that is, the juiciest grass, even the grains, and he gave them out of all this, he gave his love. He showed a lot of love on these animals, that is, on these goats. And all this did not stop these goats to run away from his hut. Okay, and these goats, they have run straight into the jaws of death, that is, to die. And he wondered, are these goats mad? But they loved freedom, or he thought that was it their love for freedom. So as these goats loved freedom, they moved away. And he thought that, but this freedom cost them their lives. And it also meant struggle for these goats when they go to the hilly area. There was one wolf which used to kill them and eat. And Abu Khan, he couldn't solve the mystery, right? One day, when all his goats had left him, Abu Khan said to himself, "No more goats in my house ever again. I may yet live for a few more years, but I will live without goats." So now Abu Khan, he was vexed off. So whatever the goats he brought, he used to give lot of care. He showed lot of love on these goats. But unfortunately, these goats loved freedom and they left his house one by one. So now he got very angry and he said to himself that he is not going to bring any goats to his house. And he said that he can live without these goats. However, the poor old man was terribly lonely. Terribly means very badly. So he was all alone. There was no one with him. He simply couldn't do without his pets. Very soon he bought a young goat. He thought, a young goat will stay with me much longer. She will soon begin to love me as well as the food I give her every day. She will never want to go to the hills. And he laughed with joy. So now, as he was very lonely, he couldn't be without any pet. So immediately he brought another pet goat, a young goat he brought. And he thought that as this goat is very young, it will stay with him for more time. And it will also love the food which he is going to give, that is the juiciest grass. And he thought that this goat will never want to go to the hills, and he laughed with joy. The new goat was very pretty. She was white as snow and had two little horns on her little head and a pair of gleaming red eyes. Gleaming means shining. She had a friendly temperament. Temperament is the nature, and would listen to Abu Khan's tales. Tales means stories, with a lot of interest and affection. Abu Khan called her Chandini, which means moonlight. He loved Chandini and would narrate to her stories of all his friends who were dead and gone. So now, as he brought a young pretty goat, that goat was as white as the snow, and this goat even had two little horns on its small little head, and its eyes were very bright and shiny. And the goat's nature was very friendly, and it used to listen to what Abu Khan used to tell the stories. And this goat was very affectionate. He was also very affectionate towards the goat. And Abu Khan gave a name to this goat as Chandini. And the meaning of the word Chandini means moonlight. And he loved Chandini a lot. And he used to narrate here means tell the stories of his friends. Tell the stories of the other goats who went to the hill and dead and they were not there anymore. Several years passed. Chandini was still there. Abu Khan believed that Chandini would never leave his compound for the free and fresh air of the hills beyond. Alas, he was mistaken again. So now what happened? Several years passed, so many years over, and Chandini was still with Abu Khan only. So Abu Khan, he had a firm faith. He trusted Chandini that Chandini will not leave him. So it will not leave the compound. Compound means the yard. So his area, it will not leave, and it will not go to the hills, or it will not go beyond these hills in order to get the fresh air. But Abu Khan was mistaken again. So we'll see what has happened to this Chandini. Like other goats, Chandini too missed the hills. She told Abu Khan she must have her freedom. The story of the dangerous wolf in the forest did not discourage Chandini. So now here in the next part, we'll see how this Chandini wants to free from that Abu Khan's hut. Okay, and the story also, as Chandini knows about the dangerous wolf, but it is not discouraged in having its freedom. Every morning, Chandini watched the hilltops bathed in sunlight. How beautiful those hills are! She thought, how refreshing the breeze that blows through them, and how lovely to run across those green fields. She ran towards the hills, but had to stop with a jerk. The rope round her neck would not let her go any further. How she hated that rope! So, jerk means a sudden pull. Every day in the morning, Chandini watched the hilltops, and it had the rays of the sunlight on its body. Chandini thought that the hills were so beautiful. Not only they were so beautiful, and also the breeze which was blowing through them, it was so refreshing also. And how lovely to run across those green fields. So Chandni thought that it would be very lovely for her to run across those green fields which are there on the hilltop. She ran towards the hills, but something stopped her with a jerk. So what is that which stopped her? That is the rope which was tied round its neck, and it was not allowing her to go or move further. So Chandni hated that rope which was tied round its neck. She stopped eating the green grass Abu Khan brought for her, nor did she listen to his stories with interest and affection. So now Chandni, she stopped eating the grass which was brought by Abu Khan, and she did not even listen to the stories which were told by Abu Khan. She did not show any sort of interest or affection towards Abu Khan's stories. She lost her appetite. Appetite is hunger, grew very thin, and stared moodily at hilltops bathed in sunlight. So, as she was not eating grass, she lost her hunger and became very thin, and she was staring means looking here and there very moodily means sadly, at the hilltops bathed in sunlight means sunlight upon them. So it was moving on the hilltop, even during the day when there was sun rays. Abu Khan did not understand Chandni's anguish. Anguish is trouble or the pain. So Abu Khan did not understand why Chandni was not eating grass. At last she decided to speak to him frankly. So who decided? Yes, very good. It was Chandni decided to speak to Abu Khan, and she started. Dear Abu Khan, she said, let me go to the hills, please. If I stay on in your compound, I will die. Now Abu Khan understood Chandni's problem, but it made him very unhappy. So now Chandni, she spoke to Abu Khan, and she said that if I stay here in this compound, then I won't be able, I won't live, I will die. And it asked Abu Khan to leave her so that it will go to the hilltop. So now Abu Khan understood what was Chandani's problem. But whatever the problem Chandani was having, that he felt very unhappy, because he knew that if Chandani goes to the hilltop, there the wolf is going to eat it. Then the earthen pot which contained Chandani's breakfast fell from his hands and broke into 1,000 pieces. So whatever the food which he brought in the earthen pot which he brought for Chandani, that fell down and it broke into 1,000 pieces, because he was very unhappy that Chandani wanted to go to the hilltop. Right? Why do you want to leave me, Chandani? Abu Khan asked. I want to go to the hills, Chandani answered. Do you like the food here? I will give you tastier food and much a longer rope. No, thank you. Let me go to the hills. Now Abu Khan asked Chandani, So why do you want to leave me? Aren't I giving you good food? Then Chandni answered that no, I wanted to go to the hills. Abu Khan also told that I'll give you a longer rope and I'll give you tasty food also. So all this she refused. She said, no, thank you. Let me go to the hills. Do you realize the risk you are running? You obstinate creature, obstinate means stubborn. So here Chandni was not at all listening to Abu Khan's words. So she was very stubborn and she wanted to go to the hilltops. There is a dangerous wolf in the hills. He will eat you. Abu Khan did his best to warn her. So Abu Khan started telling her, on the hilltop there is one wolf, and that wolf is going to eat you. He warned her. Chandni answered, God has given me a pair of horns. I will fight the wolf. So Chandni very confidently says that God gave me a pair of horns, and with this pair of horns, I will fight with that wolf. Fight the wolf indeed? Have you forgotten the story of your sister Kalwa, who was the size of a big deer? She fought the wolf through the night but was killed in the morning. So now Abu Khan says that, have you forgotten that your sister Kalwa, she was the size of big deer, so that much size, and she fought with that wolf. The whole night she fought, and next day she was killed by that wolf. Abu Khan narrated Kalwa's stories for the 15th time. So narrated is told. So Abu Khan told the story of Kalwa because all these years he was going on warning the Chandni not to go to the hilltop or telling the story of the other pet animals. To all this, Chandni had only one thing to say: I want to go to the hills. So every time Chandni started saying to Abu Khan that she wanted to go to the hills, Abu Khan got very annoyed. Annoyed means angry. He got very angry on Chandni. He thundered is cried in a loud voice. You are not going anywhere. From today you will live in a small hut and not move about freely in the compound. So now he got very angry on Chandni and he told Chandni that from here after you are not going anywhere, you are not going to move freely in this compound also, and I am going to put you in this small hut. Ungrateful as you are. Ungrateful is thankless. So he refers to Chandni that you are thankless towards me. I don't want you to go to the hilltop, but you are willing to go to the hilltop. You must still be saved from the wolf. He pushed her into a small hut and shut the door. So, even though Chandni was ungrateful to him, he wanted to save Chandni from the wolf. And he put that Chandni into one small hut and he closed the door. But he forgot to close the small window at the back. So he closed the door, but that window he did not see, that he forgot, and that was open. The same night, Chandni made that window her passage to freedom. Passage is way. So that very night, Chandni, through that window, it went out searching for freedom. Is this clear, children? Part 1. So here ends part 1. And in part 2, we will see how Chandni fights for freedom. I hope you all have understood. Yes? Thank you, children.